Smith, if you don't see how this is part of the game. We shouldn't bleeding games. Oh. You tucked away just now.
Welcome back to Supernova Traveler. If you are new around here, join our Travel Around the World family by subscribing, sharing, liking, and commenting. And if you are returning, continue your journey around the world as we start another review of The Haunting of Bly Manor, The Two Faces, Part 2, Episode 7. This episode almost made me cry. There was nothing beautiful about it. We were able to see the real Peter Quint. The manipulative, convincing, conniving, selfish, and a man grasping at straws to get whatever he wants at the expense of others. He exploits good people and is one of the most disrespectful characters I've seen on TV in a long time. And I think it is because the writers of the show lets us see how Peter Quint grooms people, how often people turn a blind eye to what is wrong or go against their gut feeling, and how words can be more harmful than breaking bone. With that being said, let's dive into the episode.
What's the matter, Miles?
Like I said, this feels wrong.
So, feeding off the children's grief and love for their parents, Peter Quint has convinced them that they are playing a game. Because the children trusted both Peter and Rebecca in life, so do they in death. And they allow both Rebecca and Quint to inhabit their bodies. They have tied Dani up in the attic, and Quint is telling Miles that sometimes you do the wrong thing for the right reasons.
Life is a bit funny in that way. Sometimes right can seem wrong when wrong can seem right.
Comparing Miles' actions for killing the bird to go home to protect Flora.
But that's the difference between children and adults. Seeing the big picture. Now you can see it.
Quint and Jessel have described and convinced Flora and Miles that possession is just like dream hopping. As Quint tries to convince the children to basically murder Dani, Miss Jessel begins to be called by a memory and walks off against her will.
You're slipping. Bex, you're slipping. It was Bex.
After Miss Jessel is called off as if in a trance, so follows Quint, who is taken to a living nightmare. It turns out that Quint was abused as a child from his father, and his mother was complacent in the treatment, and other children seem to have been involved. It's never quite said, but it is insinuated. His mother tracks him down and threatens to go to his boss if he doesn't give her money. Then we go off to Miss Jessel's memory.
Just a little bit of money, maybe. £250,000.
The night after Quint was murdered by the Lady of the Lake, but no one knows that yet, and they think that he just ran away after stealing $250,000. And Miss Jessel is struggling between defending Quint while also finding out who he really is. Jessel is a weak and too forgiving woman. Love has really made her stupid, blind, and forgiving.
To America together.
Sounds lovely.
We had a plan in that we would live in the States together.
And this all
didn't
made
know-
sense to you? On a butler's wage?
He isn't a butler.
With this, we hear the second part of Miss Jessel's story and how she came to be deceased. After Quint is presumed as a runaway thief, Miss Jessel takes his absence very hard. Jamie the gardener comes to her and tells her to get her life back on track and go to Henry Wingrave and request her apprenticeship so she can get back on the barrister track. And just like a man who knows a woman is about to move on with her life, Peter Quint reveals his ghostly form to Miss Jessel. Jessel, like the idiot she is, gets entangled back in his web of lies, deceit, and betrayal. She voices her anger and forgives him in moments.
Please think, what's the one thing, the only thing that would ever keep me from you?
Quint is so selfish that instead of letting Jessel grieve, he instills hope and recruits her to his plan to escape Bly Manor.
I can't get past the end of the drive. I walk and I run, and the moment I reach the edge of the property, I'm right back here.
Quint is a wordsmith. He constantly uses his words as a double-edged sword, only revealing enough of the truth to keep you strung along. In the heat of a passionate, distressful conversation about not being able to love Quint properly, Quint touches Rebecca and possesses her body. They then try to escape the grounds using her body, but are unsuccessful.
It didn't work.
After the failed escape, Quint starts to take up residence in the mind and body of Miss Jessel. But the downside of being possessed is that you become trapped in old memories, as well as lose time in reality. When Quint finally becomes unhappy with the small snippets of feeling alive again, he slowly convinces Miss Jessel of accepting him as part of her being, so that they can be together forever. He has talked to all the ghosts in the house, and he's figured it out. Instead of telling Jessel the whole plan, he just asks her, "Do you trust me?" All these months, Peter Quint has never given this woman a reason to trust him.
You'll take care of me, yes?
Of course.
We'll be together. We'll share it all, everything. Equals.
Even with everything that the police officer told her about Quint, she still chases his ghost. She agrees. She says, "I trust you." She repeats the words, "It's you, it's me, it's us."
It's you. It's me. It's us.
And with that, they become one. As Jessel lays next to Quint in a memory, Quint takes Jessel's body into the lake and submerges her under the water. And at the very last moment, he again selfishly leaves her body so that she can die alone, feeling the water fill her lungs. All this because he did not want to be alone. As we watch Rebecca Jessel die, my mind goes back to the previous episode with Miss Gross as she tells the story of the mouse and the glue trap, and her words come to fruition.
That man is a glue trap. And when Rebecca realises that she won't come out whole, she'll think she's okay. Till she realises she's stuck.
We move on to the next segment of our story. Just as we watch Quint set up Jessel to die, Quint plans to do the same to the children. As he returns to the present, he sees the children untying Dani, and he now knows he has to put his plan into action, or the children will be taken away from Bly Manor.
But we have to finish it now.
Maybe we can wait until...
Wait until what?
He makes false promises to the children. He struts around, putting fear into the children's hearts.
What, until we fade away? Yes! You don't want that to happen to us, do you?
And of course, a child's love is unconditional, so he plays on that.
Think as hard as you can. Think about you and me, and then think us.
He talks about the fading faces, and he doesn't really know why the faces fade. He just needs something to grasp onto to save himself. And he has recruited Jessel to follow suit. He has convinced the children that they will be with their parents in the forever house.
We're going to be tucked away in the forever house, just like we said.
With Mum and Dad.
That's right, with your loving mum and dad.
The children are reluctant and scared as Quint tries to manipulate and convince them of moving forward with his plan. Jessel sits back, going along to get along. Miles becomes one with Quint, repeating the words, "It's you, it's me, it's us," as does Flora and Jessel. Quint, now wearing the skin of Miles, takes a walk with Miss Gross. He forces her to realize her demise.
It would happen all the time. You'd run off a cliff, run straight off it, and you'd keep on going. That's you. That's who you remind me of, Hannah.
As they walk through the forest, Quint guides Miss Gross to the well he pushed her in. It's like Quint wants to destroy anyone who has any amount of happiness. And Miss Gross confronts her worst fear by looking down.
Then he'd fall. Only when he looked down. You just need to look down, Hannah.
Back in the manor, we find out that Rebecca never possessed Flora, and they quickly untie Dani, and Dani runs out the house with Flora, but Flora fights back out of concern for Miles. And as a wrap-up, if you are in a relationship, although it might not be violent, it does not mean it is healthy. Know when to get out. Don't be a Rebecca Jessel. Also, kids always getting people caught up in something. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment. And I'll be seeing you in a few more hours to do episodes 8 and 9 together.